Hey guys, and welcome to a new channel we're starting on YouTube here. We're going to be calling it the Retail Rip Review. And the whole purpose of the channel is to open retail sports trading card products and to see what we can get out of that just from pulling things off the shelves. Now, I feel like if you ask anybody what the best thing to open or best thing to do when it comes to starting your own personal collection of trading cards, people will undoubtedly say to buy singles, save your money, don't buy retail, buy singles of the things that you want, and do it that way. And undoubtedly, this is definitely the best way to go. The chances of you finding something that you're actually looking for in retail product versus just finding that specific item on eBay or something else is definitely something that you need to consider. When you open retail, you're getting a random assortment of everybody in the league as opposed to just one particular player, just one particular team that you might want. So in that case, I absolutely agree with the mentality that buying singles is the way to go. But harkening back to when we were all kids, or at least when I was a kid, opening retail packs was pretty much the only way to build your personal card collection. I mean, there definitely were trading card stores that you could go to, and I'm sure you could buy singles and things like that, but I didn't do that as a kid. That was maybe just a little bit beyond me, or maybe a little bit too intimidating. Just didn't know enough about the hobby or the craft. Now there's tons of collectibles everywhere, and so many people are getting back into it that I feel like it would be fun and informational ultimately to see if there's anybody out there who would kind of be interested in seeing what just opening retail products exclusively can net you and what that return on your quote-unquote investment looks like. Now, when we talk about retail, we're only talking about very specific types of products, and I just mean that something that you walk into a store like, let's say Target or Walmart or something like that, and you can find on the shelf. And what that really comes down to, there are going to be three types of products that will probably primarily be opening on the channel. Those are going to be fat packs, hangers, and blaster boxes. There's definitely other types of products available that, as you increase the price point, you get more cards, you get higher end cards, you get chances at pulling more higher end objects. But those are also a little bit out of the reach as far as affordability of a lot of people, including myself. And, approaching this from a casual hobbyist, perspective, if you walked into the store and saw a fat pack on the shelf for $6.99, you might think, oh, hey, why not? I'll give it a try. But if you saw a hobby box for $200 or $150, you would think, well, there's no way I'm going to spend that and not even have any idea about what I'm buying. Or maybe there's nothing in there that I even actually want at the end of the day. So obviously there's a little bit of a gambling aspect to opening packs, but that's part of what makes it fun, at least to me. And so when we're opening our retail product and we're trying to determine if we achieve, value, so to speak, I think we have to factor in the entertainment value of opening the product into that, because I don't need, or you don't need a YouTube channel or anyone else to tell you that you're probably not going to make money opening cards, just like for retail cards, and trying to sell them, because there's just too many things out there to get, unless you're extremely lucky. So I guess in that case, you could always win the lottery and just pull incredible autographs that you could sell for insane, returns on your investment, so to speak. But from a realistic standpoint, you're probably going to not pull anything super great. And if we do, it's going to be even that much more exciting. So what are we looking for when we're opening these products? Specifically, we'll just call them hits. So, and by hits, I basically mean anything, well, I'll specify. Hits specifically, we're looking for like really high-end stuff would be autographs, things like relics. These would be like player-worn game memorabilia or pieces of, I don't know, they've got crazy relics out there. They've got pieces of bases, they've got pieces of shoes, things like that. You're looking for numbered cards, that is to say cards that are serial numbered, like let's say to 99 or to 199. So basically that means that there's only that many of those cards in print. So if you have one of them, you have literally one of 99 cards in existence. So that definitely drives the price point up on a lot of these things. So it really kind of also narrows down what you want to look for if you're trying to look for quote unquote value cards or high value cards. You're not going to find a lot of value in base cards pretty much whatsoever. It's nice to collect, base rookies or fun inserts, but pretty much you're looking for those higher end items. There are definitely other things you can pull. There are inserts that you can find in each set that are very fun, and depending on the design, the set, and the year, those can be quite collectible. There's also a lot of parallels to cards, and that just means that it'll be a base card with some sort of variation on it. Maybe it'll have a different background, or it'll have a kind of a rainbow foil or a holographic foil or something like that that makes it more unique than just a base card. Those are also desirable. I don't know, for our purposes, if we'll consider those quote-unquote hits. We might keep a separate count for hits, that is, big stuff, and then have a separate counter for, like, minor hits or inserts or something like that, because they do have value and they are cool. So we do want to, we don't want to pretend like they don't exist. So we'll find some way to keep track of them as well that makes sense. That way we can actually see what we're getting out of here and not just, oh, another fat pack and no hits. Well, obviously, but what did we get out of it is the real question. And so to that end, we are going to be documenting this journey. So my goal is to chronicle every single pack that I open, what I paid for it, what we got out of it, what we think that that's worth, and if it was worth it to me on a personal level. It's one thing to open a pack and get a card. Let's say you paid, $10 for a pack of cards. And if you open it up and you get a $15 card, well then yeah, it was definitely worth it. But if you open it up and you only got a $2 card, but it was a player that you collect or a team that you like, then that can also be worth it. So, there's some subtlety to it. I feel like that needs to be taken into account, because it's just very much been reduced to a numbers game now in a lot of cases. And I just don't think that that really fits the spirit of collecting. I think that you should collect the things that you like and you think are cool, as opposed to just the things that you think have the highest value. Because if that's the case, then I don't, what are we even really doing here? So I have a bunch of cards back here. These are cards in my personal collection. Some of them are worth more than others, but none of them is worth anything significant. Like if I lost any of these cards, I could easily replace it, or probably pretty easily. And it wouldn't be the end of the world. Obviously, some people have personal collections that have way more valuable stuff in it, and that's awesome. I would love to get to that point one day. And hopefully in this series, we can pull some cards that join my personal collection, and we can all kind of be part of that experience. But, even beyond the documenting and the opening, and we're really trying to get down to the brass tacks of what's in packs, the number one idea for the channel and for the series is just to have fun. Because like I said before, opening packs, it's just for fun. It's not a business, it's not an enterprise. It's a scratch off ticket. You're wanting to see if you win a tiny little mini lottery, so to speak. And honestly, if you're just a fan of the game, collecting cards is cool. Even if it's a team or a player that you're not necessarily interested in. I've come across several cards that just have really cool shots, like really cool photos, action shots, players that I didn't even know existed, but because they had a cool card, I learned about them and I learned about their team. Stuff like that. It kind of fully envelops you into the game in a way that when you're not collecting, it's hard to do because you're just not really thinking about it that way. But that's the overall goal. And I just think that as long as we have fun and we find a few cool things along the way, it's going to be worth it. So I hope that this is entertaining, and I hope it's informational for everybody. We'll see how often we release videos, because at the end of the day, I do have to buy the product we're opening. So we'll be limited to whatever my budget is for the month. But that also kind of fits in with the theme, because when you're collecting retail, you're probably on some sort of budget. So that's realistic. If I go out and rip a case of hobby boxes, of course I'm going to come away with some amazing stuff, but I also spent $1,000 to do it, that sort of thing. So let's see what we can get for just a little bit less. So I hope you enjoy, and you tune in next time for our first pack opening.